You know, when we talk about the big foundational figures in human mythology,
Gods, the goddesses.
exactly the archetypes that are deep in our psyche,
Yeah.
we have this tendency to just file them away neatly.
Good guys, bad guys.
Right, this one's good, this one's bad.
Mm.
But what the sources make so clear is that that's just a huge mistake.
Yeah.
The core pattern is fundamentally paradoxical.
It's creation and destruction.
Positive and negative,
Yeah.
all unified in one original concept.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Please.
The deep dive we're taking today is really into that moment that human consciousness starts to, well, develop.
To differentiate.
Yes, and in doing so, it has to break down this initial primordial unity of psychic energy, what the sources call the archetype and psychic, and dissect it.
Into clear, manageable opposites.
And that act of separation is basically the birth of how we understand the world.
It is the defining process of individuation, really.
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness. It just demands a differentiated view of the vast, amorphous unconscious.
So it has to fragment. It has to. And this necessary fragmentation leads to individual, distinct archetypes emerging out of that complex original mass. Our mission here is, well, it's razor-focused.
Right.
We're exploring the positive face of the archetypal feminine, specifically how it structures itself along two crucial interacting axes.
And these axes define two very different kinds of positive power, don't they?
Precisely. We have the stabilizing, sort of conservative and foundational axis, which we call the elementary character, or M. And then you have the dynamic, the upward-striving spiritual axis, the transformative character, or A.
And today we're focusing only on their positive poles.
Only the beneficial side. So the sustaining energy of what we call the good mother, M+, and the profound wisdom of Sophia, A+.
Okay. But before we get to the split, we have to understand what was there before, the unified whole.
We have to. Before differentiation began, the archetype existed as a paradoxical unity. If you try to describe it, you get mutually exclusive images appearing side by side.
It's a contradiction.
It is, and this fundamental union of opposites in that original primordial archetype is known as ambivalence. It's really the signature of the undifferentiated unconscious.
So ambivalence isn't just confusing, it's intel. It's everything, all at once.
Yeah.
And the perfect visual for this state is the Ouroboros, right?
The perfect one. The circular snake eternally swallowing its own tail.
I love that image.
The Ouroboros symbolizes the Ouroboros totality. Think of it as a kind of psychic recycling, a closed loop.
Yeah.
It contains all inexhaustible meanings, all potential, before those energies crystallize and split into, clear masculine and feminine figures like the Great Father and Great Mother.
And psychologically, what does that state mean?
It represents the initial state of the ego enclosed within the self. It's self-sufficient, but ultimately it can't move or grow.
It's comforting, but stagnant.
Exactly. And what truly fascinates me is how our sources track this whole process of differentiation using something as simple as the archetype of the way.
Yes, this perfectly illustrates that movement from unconscious to conscious.
It really does. I mean, think back to its earliest appearance. Prehistoric man, possibly in the Ice Age, engaging in these rituals where the way led them unconsciously into these.
Deep, hard-to-reach mountain caves.
Right. That journey was sacred, but it was driven by an instinctual behavioral compulsion. The way was just destiny.
It was action without any reflection. They were behaving according to the archetype, not mastering it.
Precisely. Then, as consciousness evolves, as societies build structure, that way becomes a formalized ritual.
Okay.
You can think of temple precincts like Borobudur in Java. The worshiper follows a specific conscious path from the outside to the central stupa.
So the journey is now known, it's guided.
It's codified, and then it reaches that wholly inward and symbolic level, the ultimate conscious differentiation, with a statement like,
I am the way.
I am the way. The path transforms completely. It's no longer a physical journey or a destined course.
It's a conscious internal journey of redemption. Self-direction.
The unconscious behavior has been mastered. It's transformed into a symbolic, fully conscious orientation. And that narrative, that journey of the way, it's the template for how all archetypes fragment, including the feminine.
So it formally structures the feminine into those two core characters we mentioned earlier.
It does.
Okay, so let's break those two characters down. Let's start with the more primal one, the elementary character, M.
The elementary character is the conservative principle. Think of it as inertia, or maybe psychic gravity. Its whole purpose is preservation.
Holding on.
Holding fast, nourishing. Its function is fundamentally to contain and protect. Psychologically, this corresponds to the constant, the static elements of our psychic life, the things that ground us and give us stability.
And then you have the force that's constantly trying to break that ring of containment.
The transformative character.
Right.
That's the dynamic element. It drives toward motion, change, sublimation, spiritual development. If the elementary character is the solid ground.
But the transformative character is the plant pushing up toward the sun.
A perfect analogy. But wait, I want to make sure the listener grasps that these two forces aren't enemies from the get-go.
That's a great point. We often think of containment versus change as a conflict, but the sources show they actually interpenetrate.
They absolutely do. I mean, think about pregnancy. It is the elementary character, the womb, that contains and protects the life. But it's the transformative character that drives that inevitable, radical change to motherhood.
Transforming the body and the psyche.
Yes. But as the ego gains independence, it needs separation. So the transformative character has to detach from the elementary one to find its own form.
So when they finally split, the difference is preserved across two different psychological planes.
Yes. The elementary character M becomes linked primarily to the corporeal and material, the lower efficacy, the safety of the earth.
And the transformative A becomes the psychic spiritual.
The upper side, the movement toward the heavens. And for the rest of our deep dive, we are focusing only on the beneficial, life-affirming, positive poles of both.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. The positive pole of the elementary character M+, which we call the good mother.
Yes.
She's defined by bearing and releasing. She doesn't just hold things tight. Her highest function is to move what's contained in her toward the light of life and consciousness.
She is the facilitator of emergent life. And this archetype is just so foundational because of basic human biology.
Right.
The human infant requires this astonishingly long period. Our sources call it an extrauterine embryonic life that is entirely dependent on the mother.
Which creates a huge psychic overlay.
Enormous. The good mother's core functionality is providing that protection, that warmth, and that nourishment. It's the original safety net.
And that quality, that nurturing containment, is why her central universal symbol across all cultures is the vessel.
The ultimate container.
We see it everywhere. From the practical, the simple clay pot for grain, the cradle, the nest.
To the mythological, like the ship or the ark.
And that symbolism doesn't end with life, does it?
The cycle is complete and sealed because the coffin is also a vessel. It takes the body back.
Returning it to the earth womb. It's all about completing that cycle of containment. I love how widely this protection spreads, too, just from the vessel symbol. You mentioned the mountain.
Yes. This is related to the German phrase Sickbergen, which literally means to take refuge. The mountain is the ultimate geological vessel of protection.
Giving us shelter.
Absolutely. And the cave is the natural form of the vessel. It becomes the origin of the temple, the hut, the house.
So any object that provides a protective envelope
A shirt, a coat, a shield.
is imbued with this feminine power.
That is the positive elementary character at work, providing material stability for the developing ego.
And you can see this pure containment-focused character in the earliest surviving figures, like the Stone Age Venus's Lesbun or Willendorf.
Oh, absolutely. They exemplify M+. They're often unshapely, with exaggerated breasts, abdomen, and buttocks.
Those are the regions of fertility and containment, the soul reality, as the sources describe it.
And tellingly, their heads are often small,
Or featureless, sightless.
which stresses containment and fertility M+ over conscious action or mental dynamism A+. She is the power of material foundation, pure and simple.
But even when we're here, talking about the good mother, the positive, stabilizing pole, we can't escape that original ambivalence, can we? That complexity is still nested inside.
It is. A great example is the symbolism of the tree. As the tree of life, it is fundamentally female. It's fruit-bearing, nourishing, the source of sustenance.
But the wood of that tree, the ancient material substance known as hyle,
Which the Greece associated with raw matter, yes, that is also the mother of done.
it's the coffin.
It's the coffin. So the same substance that gives us the fruit of life is the vessel that encloses the corpse, returning the body to the earth room.
So even in its most positive form, the elementary character is inseparable from the concept of returning to the source.
Which can mean dissolution. It's why the ego must eventually differentiate. M+ provides security, but too much of it means returning to the primordial unconscious.
It means being held, contained, and never growing up.
And that is the threshold we cross when we shift to the upper psychic spiritual side, the positive transformative character, or A+.
This is where the Great Mother's energy strives upward. This is no longer about material preservation, is it?
Not at all. It's about spiritual ascent, where matter undergoes a spiritual transformation. It achieves a sublimated essential matter, a quintessence.
The luminous essence. The final fruit born out of the great round, but on a higher, non-physical plane.
And the primary manifestation here is the transformation mystery that's focused on rebirth.
Rebirth.
Think of initiation rites in ancient cultures. The initiated person is often spoken of as being as fresh-baked pots.
Meaning they're qualitatively changed.
Completely. The old self has died, and a new, purified self has emerged from the maternal darkness into the light.
That's fascinating. You're talking about psychological growth being experienced as a kind of physical, almost alchemical process.
It is. It's the transformation mystery of a plant that bursts out of the darkness of the earth, the elementary containment, to reach the light of consciousness, which is the transformative character.
And the climax of this entire positive segment, this A-plus axis, it culminates in vision and inspiration.
Yes, what we call the feminine spirit. This spiritual development leads to the Sophia aspect, wisdom personified, a female spirit that transcends materiality, providing spiritual guidance.
But I appreciate that the sources stress this Sophia figure is still connected to the earth. She's not an abstract, purely patriarchal spirit detached from life. Her wisdom is grounded.
She provides a wisdom of loving participation. This is critical. It's not just abstract knowledge.
It's responsive, empathetic.
And ready to intervene in the world's needs.
The ancient mysteries really give us the clearest blueprint for this A-plus journey. We see it in the Eleusinian mysteries and the Demeter core narrative.
We do. The heuresis, the finding again of core by Demeter, is the restoration of that matriarchal mother-daughter bond.
And let's not forget the mechanism of transformation here.
No. Core experienced a descent, a metaphorical death, the rape by Hades, followed by a resurrection. That passage through darkness and danger is what allows her to be fundamentally reborn and transformed.
So she emerges from the darkness having gained true insight, achieving beatific light.
She becomes the Olympian core, a goddess of the three worlds, earth, underworld, and heavens. She's transitioned from the contained daughter of M+.
The transformative guide of A+.
And this wisdom is just so beautifully captured in global figures beyond the classical world. Look at Asian spiritual figures. Tara is revered as the one who leads seekers beyond the darkness of bondage. She actively symbolizes the highest form of spiritual transformation through womanhood.
Or Kuan Yin in the East, the goddess who hears the cry of the world.
She embodies that compassionate intervention. She's often represented holding the opening lotus blossom, which is a perfect A+ symbol.
Signifying the spiritual unfolding of the psyche.
And the movement of life toward light. These figures show that transformation isn't just intellectual, it's merciful and it's active.
So what does this all mean then? We've traced how this primordial, unified, ambivalent concept of the feminine archetype, the Ouroboros, splits as consciousness develops. We looked at the distinct yet constantly interacting positive poles. The stable, preserving good mother, M+.
Who provides protection, containment, and that original safety net.
And the dynamic, insightful Sophia, A+.
Who provides the upward momentum, driving spiritual transformation, enlightenment, and that necessary, though often painful, rebirth.
This framework really is a fundamental blueprint for psychological experience. It defines our earliest needs, that visceral urge for the containment and security of M+.
But it also defines our ultimate purpose, the necessary, challenging movement of A+, our drive toward growth, sublimation, and meaning.
But remember that core tension.
Yes. Consciousness, by its very nature, seeks to emancipate itself from the initial domination of the Great Mother. To grow, the ego has to leave the comfortable vessel of M+.
But here is the central question for you to explore. If the elementary character, M+, represents our ultimate contentment and security, what happens when our individual consciousness attempts to gain true independence through that dynamic, transformative character, A+? Does that quest for radical, necessary change inevitably lead to a feeling of Elend, a potent German word meaning both misery and exile, the pain of being cast out of paradise? Or does the compassionate light of Sophia ensure that this necessary change always leads to profound new enlightenment?